Hello, and welcome back to the Masonic Roundtable, a weekly program where Masons from around the world get together to talk about Masonic news and opinions in a friendly and social manner. As a reminder, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of the participants and do not represent any Grand Lodge statements or positions. Make sure you keep your conversations open for the public and on the level. To interact with us, we love seeing you live every Thursday night in the new year, 2026. Over in Facebook and YouTube land. It's always fun. The chats are always fun. And remember, your chats may show up in the show. So watch yourself. And if you can't catch us live, we'd love to have you watch the replay or check us out in your favorite podcasting app. You know me, John T. Ruark, past master of the Patriot Lodge, number 1957 in Fairfax, Virginia. And next up, we have the one, the only, Jason Richards. What's up, Warsh?
Jason M. Richards, past master of Vacation Lodge number 16 in Clifton, Virginia. Glad to be here.
Got my first Warsh of the year in.
I know.
It's nice.
Actually, it's your first Warsh of the year at Manassas stated a couple weeks ago. And by a couple weeks ago, I mean last week. It's felt like it's been like 10 months.
2026 has been a heck of a year so far, hasn't it?
God damn. Yep. So, Manassas stated back last week, I did get a couple Worshes. And y'all
funny.
could like knock that off. That would be awesome.
That means we're going to double down. Got it.
No.
Well,
anyway,
kicking off the new year, let's give a special shout out to the patrons who have this show going well into 2026. You guys are amazing. We thank you so much. It has helped to continue for hosting costs, cameras, and lighting, and even a round of green beans or two. So with that, I want to thank you because you guys are amazing. We love you. Head over to patreon.com/the Masonic Roundtable if you want to support the show.
Yeah, they've already funded us through this first 10 months of 2026 that we've been in.
The first 10 months of January 8th. Yes.
Yes.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, well, here we are. We made it. That's the theme of the year. We made it. All right.
Like we made it.
So then we often transition, as one does, to the tarot card of the week, which is the best part of the show without joke.
Tarot card of the week.
Yay!
We really need to like clip down the awkward silence at the beginning of the track because the timing on that just
we need like another
time.
intern. That's what we need. We need a new intern for 2026.
Yes, absolutely. Cool. This week for Tarot Card of the Week, we have the Radical Vision Tarot. Radical. It's a bright and bold graphic reimagining of the traditional tarot deck to be interpreted through the eyes of the reader. Have a radical vision. What it means is you're going to get some abstract shapes and no one's going to be able to figure out what it is in relationship to like the Smith weight.
Just like 2026.
Yeah.
The smirk says everything.
I drew this upside down.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me. Intemperance. The temperance card.
Intemperance and excess.
Oh my goodness. Well, what a way to start your New Year's resolutions. That's such a great pull. Right? Holy smokes.
Oh man.
You couldn't have planned that. Sometimes we do, but most of the time we don't.
Upside, harmony and calmness.
Right.
Downside, counterbalance, home remedies. I don't understand how home remedies come from
non-temperance.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, like the new food pyramid. Like is
Upside down.
temperance reversed, right?
What's wrong with eating real food? So it's interesting. So temperance, which is good. It's a good pull because it is one of the Masonic virtues as well. So that's a good one. It does fit with the New Year's resolutions, right? Most resolutions are noble and are for more temperate things, to stop doing this bad thing, but yet
Subduing your passions, right?
subduing your passions even. Look at
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but yeah. What a good one. What a good one. Let's try not to be
Intemperate
intemperate this year.
or incontinent. What's a problem?
Or all the above. That would
Yeah.
be great. Very good show to start off the year. Good card. And
This is what happens when you get me and John and no one else shows up.
Joe sends his regards. And RJ, I think he's still in 2025.
Yep.
But yeah, do give a special shout out to Harlem World Boy. Greetings from a 3 times past master. It's thrice past master from Beacon Light Lodge, number 76, from the most worst.
But is he thrice illustrious?
Grand Lodge of New York. Nice. Welcome. Thank you and
Thanks,
Happy New
bro.
Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, we did say Tarot Card of the Week is not the same without Joe's rolling eyes. And
Yeah, we could make that into a graphic that we like throw up on the screen. Like,
so many good ideas.
I
So
know.
many good ideas. All right, so in case you haven't guessed by now, the topic for this week and this year is New Year's resolutions, part 11.
11.
We've been doing this. You can go back to the archives and see how we failed at least 10 times throughout our previous iterations of New Year's resolutions. But I tell you what, I do look forward to this episode every first episode of the year for a variety of reasons. One, I've said before, I love doing New Year's resolutions. I love doing daily resolutions. I love doing monthly resolutions, right? So, because I take that trying to be a better man thing pretty seriously. And so I think it's important to put in the record that, hey, here's what I'm going to try to do, and I'm probably going to fail, and that's okay, right? It's all about intending on doing making yourself a little bit better every day. So yes, welcome, Darren. Good to have you in the comments. So yeah, how about you? Do you like New Year's resolutions? Which I'm not sure your opinion, but I was hoping RJ would be here because he said he's not a resolutions kind of guy. Not a fan. What about you, Jason?
So I don't like them in the sense that I think they can give you an excuse to wait to enact change.
Fair point.
And if we are, I ascribe to the Kaizen approach that we've talked about on a bunch of shows past, right? Like waking up every day and striving to be 1% better. And so, like, I think it's every time you wait for January 1 to start over, you miss countless opportunities to change yourself for the better. And so that I think is creates a bit of an issue for me with New Year's resolutions. Like, I don't hate them, I don't disparage them.
Are you more meh about them? Give or take them?
I try to focus on making solid changes as often as I can and getting back on the wagon when I fall off. I think, and I don't have to do that just on January 1.
Well, good. I've got 86 times that you can do that this year. We'll talk about
Great. Great.
Should Freemasons, in particular, be more apt to have resolutions compared to the general public?
So, I mean, you could interpret that question a couple different ways. You could interpret it as, should Freemasons make a big point once a year to try to change themselves for the better?
It
Or
could be interpreted that way.
yes, or you could interpret that as, should Freemasons be more naturally interested in improving themselves for the better? And so
The former, nah.
Yeah, you could see it either way. I do think that Freemasons should be more interested in personal transformation and should latch on to every opportunity you get to change yourself and, build this spiritual edifice. What do you think, John?
So I had a hot take during one of my shower thoughts that recently, this was about a month or two ago, and it really kind of started sticking with me. The more I thought about it, the more I'm kind of doubling down on it. Where basically, if you're a Freemason and you are not a better person today than when you joined Freemasonry, you should probably quit. Might be a hot take, right? It is a fraternity. It is a social club as well, right? But we are different than the Elks or the Rotary or church clubs, right? Because we have an explicit goal of taking good men and making them better, and we have moral lessons that we teach that we're expecting each other to be better. So I don't know. That's a hot take that I don't think is too hot, and that's up to you to decide. Think about when you're initiated. Am I in some way a better person than I was then?
Who defines better?
Ooh, now you're getting deep, right?
I mean, again, we're circling back to moral absolutism versus relativism, but I'm trying not to go that far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I leave that open to the listener, but I will say that, like Benjamin Franklin would keep track of the virtues, right? He was a big fan of virtue ethics, right? Where if I can keep track of how I am, performing temperance every day, right, then hopefully through the culmination of these behavior changes, I will be a better person, right? So that's answering.
Was he virtue signaling with virtue ethics?
Yes. Touche. I like that. So there's that one part about behavior, and then there's just the moral compass that goes with that too, right? It's much harder to teach morality. We have a system of morality, veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols, but it's much harder to judge someone's morals or character. So really, it is left to the individual to determine, are my morals and my character better than when I joined Freemasonry? I don't know. That's hard, and that's left to the individual. Deep. My wife says I'm better, so there's that. That's good.
Sorry, I switched mics, and apparently the mic I was talking into didn't work.
And now I hear you.
Great.
Welcome back. All right, so I agree. I think that you should be looking at yourself and seeing, have I progressed through the application of certain things to make myself better since I joined Masonry? And if you want social club, I mean, hey, there's lots of other options. But I think we have something a little bit different that we should, as a society, should be kind of holding each other accountable. Wouldn't that be great if we had like accountability bros? Need to go
Yes.
register that .com right now.
There you go.
Accountabilitybros.com.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes there's a big disparity between kind of how we think of ourselves as like learned, virtuous men, and how it comes out in real life, in real world, and
yeah,
in practice. And I'm not saying that against any individual or groups of individuals, but it's just kind of the human condition, right? And so there's a sanctification process and purification process as part of this initiatic spiritual transformation, that if it really takes then it's a continual process that you renew every day.
Nice. I like it. And back to the accountability, bro. I know that just privately, like we, specifically you and me, and also the greater we from our Masonic circle, we do hold each other accountable. We do check in on each other. We do, we do want to follow up and make sure that things are getting done, things are progressing, things are moving forward. And so I'm pretty happy that we can do that for each other. And I encourage everyone else to do that for their friends and bros too. So.
Yeah, I mean, in the green room before the show, John was like, okay, how are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so much better to go on a journey with a group of like-minded individuals than just simply by yourself.
Amen to that.
And I think that works really well for New Year's resolutions.
Indeed, indeed. So let's talk about the Masonic concept of improvement, right? Or self-improvement, right? Explicitly, like we have the symbols of, say, the rough ashlar and the perfect ashlar. Right? Those are one of the first symbols we see in Masonry. And it's pretty clear cut, pun intended, is that you are transitioning from a rough and imperfect state to a more solid, perfect state. Right? And so, yes, we use the metaphor of building the temple and nice smooth stones and all that. But right in the beginning of Masonry, we're there to set expectations, to say that as you go through this process, you're going from point A to point B, and there's a clear path between those two. Not maybe in the practice of it, but like there's no debate that you are moving from one state to another, right? You're not, if you're still a rough ashlar, many years later, then yes, hey, we're never gonna be perfect.
You're gonna get thrown out in the rubbish of the temple, right?
That is true. Right? So I think it's always that's a good metaphor to start off with, right? It's part of our symbols in the degrees. Now I'll ask you, do you believe that the perfect ashlar is ever attainable?
Ooh. Not on this side of reintegration.
Ooh.
So reintegration is a concept in Christian mysticism, or in different disciplines of Christian mysticism, where we kind of look at before the fall, and there was communion between the divine and creation, and there was just this link that then got severed at the fall, essentially, which has led to a decaying state of creation. And so reintegration is the process of returning to that communion and connection And each religion has their own lens and framework to use to, achieve that communion with divinity. Mysticism works for me.
Yeah.
And so, it's how do you, every day kind of reaffirm your commitment to get to know your God better and better and better. And so I see, especially in the context of King Solomon's temple, right? Like when you become that perfect ashlar, you're put into the temple as part of the temple. And so if you think about, again, Richard Rohr, panentheism, we all have God within us, and creation is a continual thing. Man, I am going
That's my
deep
jam.
down so many
I'm letting you roll.
rabbit
This is
holes,
great.
right? Right. So not pantheism, not everything is God. Panentheism, God is in everything and everyone. Then if you achieve that full connection with God, that is when you are placed among the other perfect ashlars within King Solomon's temple. And I don't think, except in very rare circumstances, that we can achieve that while living.
No, I like that because, it's, I've heard it phrased differently about it's not so much the destination, but the journey, right? That
Sure.
if you are able to practice daily what you preach, then you will get there eventually, or even if it's after you pass away, but at least it's the process of perfection that is more important than necessarily the perfection. It'd be great if everyone could just snap their fingers, be perfect, sinless, all good to go.
We'd all do it, right? I mean,
sign me
maybe
up.
not all of us, but
no. But like I said here, something we tell brothers is that just because you chip off a rough edge of your ashlar doesn't mean it can't grow back. Right? So you have to be constantly working at it, right? Hey, life changes, circumstances change, and yes, we're gonna fail, but like we've talked about so far, you have to constantly work at it. Again, because if you're not, are you really applying your working tools? Thanks, Metal Drew. Happy New Year. It's good to see you. Woo!
So what's your commentary on all that, John? I went super deep. Now I expect, as your accountability partner, I expect you to do something similar.
Oh, how the turntables. Let's see. So I for my SRICF college, I did do a paper on the four worlds of the Kabbalah. And one thing that was interesting was about the different states of being, as far as like your mental state, going through rough material forms all the way up to spiritual forms. And
is that like the four worlds?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And the takeaway when I was doing my research is that yes, the goal is to reach the top and integrate with the divine and unicorns and rainbows. But we're human beings. We're spiritual beings with a physical, material existence. So, even if we were able to achieve that, it's not a permanent state of glory, right? There's going to be times where we're going to get cut off in traffic and we're going to be angry at the guy who cut us off. And that's just human nature. That is a biological reptilian response to the material world that we have to live in, right? So there's going to be days where we're hanging out in the material plane. There's days we're going to be...
And that's not a reason, that's not a reason to not put a Masonic decal on your car.
I'm just a horrible driver, and I just flip off everybody. No, I hate that excuse. I hate it. But yeah, so I guess the takeaway there is part of the journey of getting towards a perfect ashlar. there will be days that you'll be more of a rough ashlar. There will be days that you're closer to the perfect ashlar. And so it's the wisdom to know where you are and where you can do better, back to that, do better today than you did yesterday. Yep.
And it's also, I think, important to understand that you really have no way of knowing what shape you're going to be when you achieve that perfection.
Oh, that's true. I mean, just if you look at it from a religious standpoint, right? You hear all these stories of people that have been totally through the veil, have like seen the light, right? And they said, never in a million years would they have thought that they were this person they are today than they were, a year before, because of just the transformative part of that. Mm-hmm.
You see that a lot in near-death experiences. Yeah.
Fair point. So another symbol that is sort of tangentially related to resolutions is the application of the 24-inch gauge, right? We're taught that we only have a limited amount of time each day, right? And that we have to allocate our resources appropriately. Some of it's prescriptive, as far as how much time to set aside for our vocation, for our service to God, and our family, and all that. But really, it's explicitly telling us, hey, you can't do it all, and you can't do it all at the same time. Or there's a phrase I heard that says, I can do anything, but not everything. Right? I have to be selective in what is it that I'm trying to accomplish, or what am I working on? And so,
or I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Oh, okay. Anything but that.
But I won't.
How about that brother who's late for lodge? Are they failing to use 24-inch gauge?
Sounds. It depends on their priorities.
Oh, there you go.
Depends on the priority.
Yeah, it's that's a good point, because we choose what we do with our time, and sometimes doing nothing is a choice, right? Or
well, if you're late for lodge every month because you're having dinner with your kids,
are they failing at their 24-inch gauge, or are they crushing it? Right?
Probably somewhere in between.
Yeah, somewhere in between.
So but again, like, it's hard for an outsider to truly make that judgment call, right? Like, that's where like introspection has to occur, and it really has to be, the individual in question, having the wherewithal to say, like, am I really spending my time the way I should be spending my time?
Right. Or if they're using a meter stick instead. Yes. A 1 meter meter.
I mean, the metric system just makes sense.
But I thought we're keeping it down.
Oh, I'm sorry. The metric system doesn't make any sense.
Let's control that British crown. The last one that I wanted to talk about from a Masonic point of view is subduing passions. Like, we're taught to do that pretty early as well in our Masonic careers. And if you look at it from just the pure face value, people could misinterpret what the intent is behind controlling your passions or subduing your passions.
Is it like that thing in November?
The
for people with,
yes,
legume allergies.
Yeah.
Well, is that curbing your passions?
Well, so we have lots of passions, and it's on first pass, right? You would think that, hey, we're telling men, hey, subduing your passions is just like, hey, don't be passionate, but don't fly off the handle. Don't be irate at things, right? That might be the literal version of that. And yet it goes much deeper I read a really good essay years ago. I have to go back and dig that up, right? Where the passions are, I mean, it's an archaic term if you actually look through it. And passions then, the way it was used in Old English was not about your intemperance towards your emotions. It was more on your failings for your virtue ethics, or your failings for your goals, right? So when you're trying to subdue your passions, it applies to much more of your personal flaws and character than just don't be, don't fly off the handle, and and kind of guard your tongue, that kind of stuff. It's much more than just temperance. It's a lot more of your moral character that you should be subduing as well.
Yeah, so I have to show this comment. I want to talk about this for a second. We're told to have zeal for the fraternity, but to also subdue our passions. Seems contradictory. And so when you think of zeal in related to Freemasonry, always think of John the Baptist, right? Like, he preached with zeal, and he was zealous in paving the way for the Messiah. On the other hand, we have John the Evangelist. Of course, John and John are the two patron saints of Freemasonry. John the Evangelist was very subdued and understated. And so you can have zeal for the fraternity, and in having that zeal, you're closer to John the Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can subdue your passions, being more understated and closer to John the Evangelist. But if you stay within that point within a circle,
Woo!
bordered by two parallel lines, one being John the Baptist and John the Evangelist, the Book of Constitutions over top of it.
Quick, somebody write this down. This is good stuff.
It's a gray area, but as long as you stay within those boundaries, that's what the fraternity is getting at. And so you're never, when you think of subduing your passions, it's about equilibrium and balance, and bringing things that are out of balance back into the circle. And that can look a myriad of different ways.
Be the change. Be the middle pillar. Yes.
The change.
Totally. Man, Joe's missing all of his shout outs. Okay. So, a couple of years ago, I read a book called When by Daniel Pink, who's done a couple other leadership and organizational development kind of books. And he has one section in his book which is really interesting through his research of timing of things, right? And to your point earlier about the timing of why wait till New Year's for a resolution. I'm with you on you should be 1% better every day, right? What are you doing tomorrow that's going to be better? What are you going to change? Why wait? And so in his book, he says,
why wait when you could be the change?
Be the change. So there's if you need a landmark, if you need a day to tell you when to hit the reset button, he has 86 days on the calendar that are effective for making a fresh start. First day of the month, there's 12 of them. Monday morning, that's 52. Right? First day of each spring, summer, fall, winter, or each season. Your country's Independence Day, your religious holidays, your birthday, a loved one's birthday, first day of school, first day of the semester, first day of a new job, right? First day after graduation, first day back from vacation, right? So you can see where he's going with it. There's a couple more, but if you need an arbitrary deadline to get you started, pick the closest one, right? There's no sense in waiting, right? And that's what I like that. And I take that to heart because what I personally do is I have shifted over the past, trying to remember if I did this last year or beginning of last year. I think I started around spring of last year. I have shifted towards personal OKRs.
Ooh.
I have, and I have
No
failed it just
KPI love?
no KPIs. Nope. But I'll talk about those in a second. So, in modern management techniques, there's a way to keep track of things, to keep track of goals specifically, not unlike New Year's resolutions. But why wait for a year? Because if you do it right, your objectives, it's a fancy word for goals, should be measured maybe quarterly. Because there's time to get back on the horse, right? You set a goal that is achievable within 3 months, but if you fail, that's okay. You've got another 3 months to try again, right? Instead of waiting, well, because second Friday of January every year is Quitter's Day. You can go look it up, because that's the day where people either give up on resolutions or stop going to the gym, right? It's the second Friday every year of January. So,
And what gets measured gets managed.
that's right. And it's a much smaller iteration to say, okay, how did I do on that? And if I'm going to hit the reset button, what have I learned to apply to try something different, right? It's the whole Kaizen thing we've been talking about. So what I do is I have the Google Keep app on my phone, and I break my personal goals into several categories. I try to, I picked this up from Damon John, who's one of the Shark Tank sharks. And in his book, he talks about his personal goals are based around the categories of faith, health, career, family, and I think there was one other one. I'll have to go look it up.
And gratitude for our super chat from Courtney.
Look at that.
Thanks, bro.
Nice. That's amazing.
As you were saying.
As I was saying, here they are. This is from Damon John. He has faith, family, business, health, and career. And he separates business and career in the sense of like, business is kind of you're more tactical, and your career is like, what's your long-term plan?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I try to set at least one goal in those categories, but the goal only lasts 3 months. So then the KR in OKRs, O being objectives, KRs stand for key results. So how am I going to measure, to your point, if I'm making any progress? I would like to find out along the way if I'm getting close to that, or what are the little things I'm going to be tracking to see if I'm getting to that goal. So that's it's been working for me. You may have heard of things like SMART goals, where you want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. You can do that as well. It's just a little hot take on that. And so here's a couple examples. I don't know. I'm just a fan of it. I've talked about it in other contexts. Even at work, I've been sharing my personal OKRs. But let's just say you had an objective to learn a new skill, right? Or let's just say I want to learn how to play the piano, right? So your objective is going to learn to play a new instrument. The key result is one new musical instrument this quarter or the year. Another key result would be, in order to do that, I can measurably say that I'm going to spend at least 10 hours a week to practice. And this is where you have these habit apps, right? That you can keep track of how many glasses of water you drink a day, or how many times you practice in a week. Because it needs to be in your face, right? You need to see it. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to lose weight. And if you don't do anything about it, or you're not tracking how far you're running or anything, you're not gonna make much progress, right? So get that key result written down. And what I like about this is, what these should be done is that they should actually be measurable, like objectively measurable, that someone can look at it and say, yes, you met this number or you didn't meet this number. Because guess what? It's okay to fail these. These are guesses on what are the key results I need to see along the way to see if I'm making any progress.
Well, I think it's your best good faith effort, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I like is it's a guess until you do it the second time. So at the end of the quarter, go back and look and say, hey, did I meet that? Did I meet that goal? And if I didn't, well, did I do 9 hours a week of practice? Okay, so technically, did you fail the key result? Yes. But now you apply the human brain and say, well, did I still make progress? Am I still happy with the progress? Yeah, okay, so maybe 9 hours is good enough. And maybe when I do my next quarterly key result, I only say I need 9 hours of practice. Not going to try to kill myself about it, but I'm going to reset the goal based off of new data that I didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, personally, one of my health ones is I'm doing the dry January thing for the first time. And so what you saw me drinking earlier was actually non-alcoholic beer instead of the usual heavy octane. Hey, technology's been great. They've got some really good ones out now. But yeah, so that's one, and that is a measurable thing that if I can make it through the end of January, then I've met that goal. That's my key result.
Okay.
So that's one example. I have a weight loss objective as well in there. Y'all don't need to know how much I'm targeting, and I'm probably going to fail at that one, but I've got a goal. I'm really big about setting goals, and yes, always.
I mean, it's not currently a full moon.
Yes. What happens on a full moon, Jason?
John eats ice cream.
And my kids still know that today. Because that's one of my vices. Yes. Hey, well, I mean, okay.
I think about that every single time there's a full moon. I'm like, John's getting his ice cream. It's going to be a good day.
Yay! So that's the temperance part, right? We talk about temperance. And if that's what I need to show some restraint, I can treat myself to ice cream once every 28 days. Yeah. Sometime once in a blue moon. Do you know what a blue moon is?
The new moon.
Almost. It is when you have 2 full moons in one calendar month.
Oh.
The second full moon is called, for whatever reason, a blue moon.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone.
Which is why it's once in a blue moon. Happens, where the 28 days happen to just slide in the window of a calendar day. So you learn something new. Oh, dude. Funny you say that. My kids call it wolfing out. Oh, Dad's going to go wolf out on his ice cream this month. But hey, you know what? It sounds silly, but it works. And that's
lactose
the thing, right?
Doesn't count during a full moon. You don't get the tummy troubles.
No, yeah, trust me. I pay for it.
You rhetorical, not you, John. One does not get the tummy troubles when one eats ice cream during a full moon.
So what do you think about those categories, Jason, of setting not just a New Year's resolution, but having at least one in those categories of your aspects of your life? Faith, health, career, family, etc.
Well, I think it's helpful from a holistic sense, right? Like you want to yes, that would have radically changed the plot of Teen Wolf. Darren is disappointed that he's not still on the show, as we had him for 3 episodes straight last year.
That was a 2025 problem. We've improved.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think
categories
from a holistic sense of self-improvement, I think it makes a lot of sense because those are main buckets of your life, and they're not mutually exclusive, but they're not mutually inclusive of everything. But it is a good. It represents a good cross section of the major parts of your existence.
Yeah, it's like kind of like if you're working out, but you're only doing leg day every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You might make progress, but only one area, one aspect of who you are, right?
Yeah.
And you'd look really weird because you'd be like skinny on top and like roided out on the bottom. But yeah,
I do think. Oh, go ahead.
That's it.
I do think it's interesting because with my resolutions, I group them into a similar set of categories.
Okay,
And
I'm
so
curious.
my resolution is to improve myself in body, mind, and spirit.
I like it. Okay.
And so I took more of a kind of esoteric occult anatomy approach where you
Because of
have the
course you did.
body, you have the spirit, which is that divinity or that spark of divinity, but then you have the
Mm-hmm.
emotional world
Mm-hmm.
as well. Yeah.
Nice.
And
I
so
like it.
I kind of did that cross section.
You got me thinking.
Don't hurt yourself.
See now you've got me like plotting this whole like n-dimensional space of overlapping these categories of do I have like a body, mind, and spirit hierarchy of those specific categories, right? So do I have the material, the spiritual of my career, the material and spiritual of my family, right? Because like
I think
material,
material and emotional, yes. Spiritual, maybe.
maybe.
Like if you are actively using your vocation to bless God or strengthen, deepen your
Mm-hmm.
relationship with God, then perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, and then
for a
there's like physical
guy,
health, mental health,
mm-hmm,
right?
yep,
Spiritual health.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. You got me thinking.
I mean,
There's a book
for
to
a
be written.
guy who manages like AI tools and AI
Mm-hmm.
programs, there is not necessarily a clean linkage between that
No,
and like spiritual health.
I'll make it happen.
I believe in you. We should ask ChatGPT.
We should. It's your favorite LLM. Yeah. So, all right. Do you want to share any of your goals for this year? Any of your New Year's resolutions?
I kind of did. I mean, that was as far as I've gotten. It has been a whirlwind
It
of a
has
year
been a
so
whirlwind.
far.
Yep.
And so my goal is balance and bringing
Equilibrium's a good goal. It really is.
body, mind, and spirit into balance. And to do that, I want to make small, sustainable changes. For body,
Excellent.
it's moving more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm not gonna commit to doing my workout routine and my lifting routine, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Like I just want to move more. With mind, I want to spend time on things that are edifying. I don't want to doom scroll as much. I don't, want to watch the collapse of world civilization, as much as I already do. And spiritually, I want to be more mindful and look for more opportunities to be mindful of my place here and my place in relationship to my God. And so, but those are piss poor OKRs.
They are. They are. They would make John cry. But you know what? I like
Okay.
the incremental part. You had me at incremental. You had me at I am going to do more movement than I'm currently doing because you were comparing
Yeah.
against the baseline at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I did. But your intentionality was really kind of fascinating there
Mhm.
because I'm also reminded of, I think it
When
was,
I fail, I beat myself up a lot. You
so
know,
set the bar low, right? So I
yeah.
could trip over it. Hey, you know what? As long as it's better than you were yesterday, who am I to
Give
judge?
yourself, it's not setting the bar low so you can trip over it. It's giving yourself the opportunity to hit that bar every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's measuring things in story points as opposed to releases for, you know, product managers out there, right?
Hmm.
Like, I don't need to build and build and build and wait for 3 months to see if I've made any progress
Right.
when I can take a look at myself and do some introspection every night and say, hey,
Hmm.
like, what did I do today? And how has that made me better?
You know, you
There
want to
might be
say,
plenty of nights where you're just like, I don't know,
yep,
eh,
eh.
I'm going to bed. That's okay.
Again, I'm really zoned in on your intentionality part, right? It's like, whatever you do, be into it and don't try to uh, give time and energy to things that are lower value for your goals and for your intentions, right? And I keep thinking of, there's like a heck yes rule where
Hmm.
if you are trying to do something or you're being asked to do something and you don't immediately feel like you want to say heck yes to it, I
Then
should
don't
just
do
say,
it.
then don't do it, right? Only do the things that you would say heck yeah, I'll do that, right? And
Are you
it's a
saying I shouldn't write my SRICF paper?
I'm saying, if you're not saying to yourself heck yes, I'll do it, maybe you should reconsider.
What about with my kid? Do a lot of things for my kid that I don't say heck yes to.
Ah, yeah. See, there's the counter argument, right? That then I wouldn't be taking the trash out every day. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, dealing
I
dealing with
will
all the
say heck yes to keeping my marriage intact.
exactly right.
So there is
You're
that
you're saying heck yes to your kid, maybe not to that specific
activity.
chore activity that you really don't feel like doing.
Yeah,
Okay, well, we saved that and made that a positive.
sweet. It's all about the spin.
It's how you spin it. It's how we lie to ourselves to achieve our goals.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I have to lose some pounds, so that's on mine. Uh One example is to walk a certain number of miles a day. So I do, that is a measurable result. I have set the number in,
Non-singular miles.
yes,
Okay.
miles. Yes, more than one. And that's, I can, with the Fitbit and everything, I can keep track of that. So that I do. I'm
If
one of those guys
you
that,
if you do your walking at night, you can channel your inner Robert Frost and say you have miles to go until you sleep.
that is true.
The woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I've got promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep.
That's not one I've memorized, but I like it. It's been years since I've heard that one.
That was high school
Yeah. See,
for
you
me.
should be. You know, you'd be really good at memorizing ritual too.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what people tell me. Eh,
Yeah, yeah. Show off. All right. Yeah, and I got some financial. I put my financial goals into my family goals because it's for the family. That's my why.
okay.
Um, so specifically in the
Well,
family
I mean, you
goals,
have 8 billion children, so
I need, yeah, 8 billion more dollars to go compensate
yeah,
for all that. So those are my goals
a
at a high
Ruark
level.
compound.
Yeah, and yeah, and I'm going to fail at some of those, and that's okay. In fact, if if you work for Google, they had, for a period of time, for about a decade or so, they were using OKRs on the regular, and they wanted you to fail at 40% of them.
Really?
Yeah, because if you are crushing your OKRs, you're not setting the bar high enough. You're not, taking on stretch assignments. So they were looking for that sweet spot of you only meeting about 60% of your goals.
Well, and that makes sense because it destigmatizes failure, right?
Sure, right. Yeah.
Right. You can get to a point where you're so risk averse that you don't actually stretch yourself and you don't innovate for the
Right.
company or the organization. And so it makes a lot of sense to me in a way of kind of desensitizing people to failure and making them more comfortable so they take bigger risks.
And so it's like reframing is really important. Like, what if we were to say, how many of your New Year's resolutions can you fail on this year? It takes the stigma away of trying to get it perfect and right. You're like, oh, okay, I'll try this, I'll try that. But
or
always
you just set the bar so low that you trip over
it. Jason, yes, that's what I heard.
Okay.
All right, this is
intentionality, man.
Intentionality. Yes, being present, equilibrium. Those are all
mindful,
good goals to achieve. So
I did not make a resolution to get more tattoos.
If you don't have to try at something, is that really a New Year's resolution?
No, my resolution is not to get more tattoos.
Well, I tripped and fell and got another tattoo. I landed on this needle.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts. Jason, what do you say? Would you say are some good motivational things for our listeners to take away?
When it comes to self-improvement and inner transformation, it's important to do what works for you. People are different. People have different triggers. They have different ways of being accountable. They have different ways of achieving their goals and different mindsets for it. And so there's no one way that's going to work for you. John's OKRs are not going to work for me where I am in life right now. I have so much to keep track of already. At the end of the day, I want to be able to look back and say, hey, you did good today.
I just put it in Jira, do a burn down chart. It'll be fine.
Wake up, do it again. And it's been years since I've used Jira.
It's been hours.
Don't tell anyone. They'll take my PMP away.
Yeah, no, that's fair, right? And I'm going to double down on what you said, is that what I like about systems is that systems beat motivation, but everyone has a different way to be accountable, whether it's they hold themselves accountable, they need to have someone else, accountabilitybro.com, hold them accountable. And, it's just, there's
Is that the one that
levels.
monitors your internet history?
Oh, you need to uninstall that plugin, Jason.
Oh, okay.
We're
make sure you don't go to any clandestine websites.
Yes, accountability, bro. That's funny. But yeah, so I think the goal is to try, right? At the end of the day, if you're not trying, then you're really not living the Masonic principle of self-improvement, right? Trying to be a better person than you were when you joined the fraternity. And I'll say it again. If you're not a better man today than you were when you were initiated, what are you doing? Pretty simple.
Go ahead and go NPD.
There you go. Yep.
Become a statistic.
Hopefully, you're not one of those. You're crushing it. You got goals for yourself. And I wish you all the very best in crushing those goals in 2026. So with that, we'll see you next week. I want to thank you all very much for watching and keep searching for more light. Have a good night.
Wow.